Hello students, this is Obhijit Shah from Essence. Today we will discuss about one history topic. The name is Industrial Revolution and Imperialism. Okay, so for most human history, people have had only few basic needs like food, shelter and clothing. So in the ancient time, there was the condition of human, then they can able to collect only their basic needs: food, shelter and clothing. Agriculture was the main occupation during the medieval period, and in the time of medieval period, agriculture was the main occupation. Everyone satisfied their needs and requirements by themselves, and only occasionally were dependent on other to fulfill their needs. So they were self dependent, and sometimes they occasionally depends on others. Every community or village was self-supporting and self-sufficient. They was self-sufficient, having its own set of blacksmith, carpenters, weavers, and other skilled workers. Okay, there was all kinds of workers. A craft person or artisan usually worked with his family members and employed simple tools to create goods at home itself. Okay, they used some tools for creating any kind of goods, and this system of home based and small scale production was known as domestic system, and these are called as domestic system. They made their all these things in their home. Later, the discovery of new lands led to increase in trade and commerce with overseas territories, and after the discovery of new lands, new countries, they try to trade, they try to do the trading activity with these active territories, and this led to the emergence of towns and cities, with the increase in population giving rise to more complex societies, and this further led to an increase in the demand for consumers and luxury goods, and in this way the demand also increased in in luxury goods, and the domestic system could not cope with this ever growing demand, and this demand cannot be fulfilled by domestic way, and that's where various another techniques are involved. As it was too slow and on a small scale, we cannot fulfill the supply of the demand with the domestic way. To meet the demand for more goods, a new system called putting out system was introduced, and after the domestic system, there another one time new system is introduced. The name is putting out system, and in this system the merchants supplied raw materials to the artisans and later sold the finished products in the markets. So there the merchants are introduced some technique, or in this way what they do, that they collect the materials from the artisans, and after the finished product they sell their goods into the market. The putting out system replaced the old domestic system and ultimately laid foundation for the factory system. Ultimately the factory system is evolved. And industrial revolution, so from about 1750 to 1850 in Great Britain, a revolutionary transformation in the manufacturing of goods known as industrial revolution. So after some time, industrial revolution is occurred and took place, and the industrial revolution was a radical transformation which changed the entire economy and society of the 18th century England, and later spread to other centuries. So at first in England the industrial revolution is done, and after that it is spread out in all the countries. It significantly altered the methods, techniques and organization of production and distribution of goods. So with the help of industry we can easily produce lots of goods. And features of industrial revolution: the domestic system of production was replaced by factory system, and instead of home, people now worked in factories. So what they do, that they made their home instead of, they made their goods instead of home into the factories. Okay, and handmade manufacturing was replaced by power driven machinery, and various machines are introduced, and machines could manufacture good much cheaply and quickly than manual labor, and machines have the ability for making any kind of things cheaply and quickly, and small scale production was transformed into large scale production, and in this way with the help of industrial activity small scale production was transformed into large scale production. The raw materials and means of production used in factories were not owned by workers, but by rich traders and merchants known as capitalists. And capitalists who have the money, they engage their monies into their for the production. And why did industrial revolution begin in England? Why this is begin in England at first? That there were many factors that led to the industrial revolution in England. First one is the new scientific knowledge and inventions. That increase in the demand for manufactured goods encouraged technological innovation. So technologically they got various opportunity, and some inventions that laid the foundation of industrial revolution are that in that time lots of things are invented by the England. That here the some importance are that steam engines by James Watt, cotton gin, telegraph, safety lamp, spinning jenny, telephone, so swing machine. These kinds of machines are invented in that time. And agriculture revolution also done. The agriculture revolution in England of the mid 17th century paved the way for industrial revolution. This agriculture revolution also helped them for the improvement of industrial revolution. An introduction of improved method of agriculture and consolidation of landholding led to increase in agricultural output of England. And use of new tools for agriculture replaced manual labor to a large extent. And this labor force was then diverted towards the towns and cities to work in the industrial economy for low wages. So use of these new tools of agriculture replaced manual labor to a large extent. That in this way that the people can able to do lots of work with some less amount of labor. Okay, and the that extra labors they can do the activities in the industries. Next is stable government. England is the 17th century witnessed a period of relative peace and stability, and it was isolated from Europe and its Napoleonic wars. The relative peace in England proved nourishing for its economic growth, and the condition of England or economic condition was so good, that's why they can able to do the economic growth easily. And next is Protestant religion. That Protestantism encouraged the rise of capitalism and further made the advancement of industrialization possible. Okay, and capitalism is growing on in that time, and after that this industrialization also happened. And surplus capital and active involvement in overseas trade and commerce and blooming cotton industry faced England immense foreign wealth. Okay, and this surplus capital was then used to foster new scientific ideas and develop new industries. So they was able to made surplus products, and the surplus products they can easily sell into the overseas territories. And availability of cheap labor and mechanization of agriculture led to unemployment in rural areas, and these people migrated to cities and towns in search of jobs. This created an enormous labor force. So there was the availability of the labor, and this was also very helpful for the industrial revolution, and they are always ready to work in factories. Okay, and availability of coal and iron. Coal and iron were the essential resource on which the industrial revolution was built. Okay, for the supply of heat we need the coal, and for making of any kind of machines we need the iron. So there was the availability of the coal and iron was used to make machines and coal was used to run them, and both were in abundance in North England. So this was also helpful for the improvement of industrial revolution. And naval supremacy. The English Navy, known as the Royal Navy as one of the strongest navies of the world. And when industrial revolution began, the Royal Navy was used for trade and exploration. So the Royal Navy was very popular throughout the world, and this Royal Navy also helped them for the trading activity. and these colonies were used to supplies for of cheap raw materials and ready markets for finished products, and this stimulated industrial growth.